Welcome back to Burn the Ship, the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs to professionals to help you go all in on your business. I'm your host, Ezra Brown. Without further ado, I'm going to allow my guest to introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Renae Kotarski, and I am a fashion brand owner. My brand is called Anastasia Fashion. It's a women's clothing brand. I design handcrafted garments, and I use natural and biodegradable fabrics. My pieces are timeless and artistic. They're kind of edgy, and I have my production is more sustainability focused.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
All right, the very first question I have, because I usually don't ask this question first, but how did you come up with the name Anastasia Clothing?
Well, I am also a seminary graduate,
Mm-hmm.
so I studied Greek and Hebrew, and I just needed a name that would, because Anastasia means resurrection in Greek,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I guess, the male form, because Anastasia is the female form. Anyway, Anastasia means resurrection. So my brand tag, one of my tags is resurrecting fashion, never discarding fashion. So you don't want to throw fashion away because it's a problem right now because a lot of fashion, fast fashion is ending up in landfills, and I kind of don't want to be a part of that. So yeah, Anastasia means resurrection.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's cool. But back to the regular scheduled program. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Tell me a little bit about your story, your journey, how you kind of got into fashion, because you just said, you studied Hebrew and you studied Greek. So that's a different walk of life than getting into fashion. So it's kind of
Yeah.
walk me through your background and how you became who you are.
Okay, so I started designing clothes like in high school, and then I went to fashion school in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's where we're
But
at.
yeah,
Let's go.
I was in Atlanta for 5 years, but I didn't really get into the fashion design industry until I guess recently. I did a few things before I had my children. I worked with a woman in Maryland, but then I quit. I kind of left, and I had a call, and I went to seminary for 10 years.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so I have a bachelor's in fine arts in fashion design, and I also have a master's degree in theology.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of funny because I said that when I was going to seminary that I would never design clothes again. It was a godless trade, and I'm never ever doing it.
Right.
But yeah, while I was in seminary, I also ministered to women in the sex trade industry. I would try to for 4 years while I was in school. It took me 10 years because I have children. So I would go to strip clubs, and I would, just try to get women out of the sex trade industry. It was a group that I worked with that was a parachurch ministry. But how did I get back into fashion design? Oh my goodness. So I would all throughout my when I was getting my master's degree. I mean, I was still like sketch, because it's in me. I couldn't stop. Like even now, I'm sitting here doodling on this paper. So I always did it. So one day I had to take my son to it was like a science museum, and so the kids went to the science museum, and I went to the coffee shop next door.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lady there. She had this shawl on. I had just graduated from seminary, and I was doing an internship at my church. And she had this shawl, and I was like, "Oh, that's a beautiful shawl." And she was like, "Oh, thank you." I said, "I used to design clothes." And she's like, "Oh, did you?" And she said, "Well, you should put some clothes in the KMAC." It's like the KMAC Museum show. It's a fashion show that they have. It's like art walks the runway. And I said, "Really?" And it was funny because started, I hand sewed a shirt because I read an article about what couture really is. Like if people, you see like brands and they call themselves couture, but if it's not hand sewn, like every stitch, like every single stitch, it's
Right.
not couture. So
Right.
I had just hand sewn a shirt, and it was awesome. And so I told her, okay, sure, I'll do it. And so I was going to put one piece in, and it was funny. And I was like, well, what could I actually do after not sewing, for, I think by then it was like maybe 12 years. And I did a verse from John, the light that shines in the darkness. And I did like, it was like this long black satin gown, and I put like chiffon sleeves, and I made tree branches. I made tree branches, and then my son whipped up a crown of thorns, and we put diamonds on it. But it was awesome, and I did a snake, like a leather snake wrapped around her body. I
Yeah.
mean, it was really artistic. I mean, and it looked pretty cool. I mean, after not designing. for like, forever. But it didn't go anywhere because, at like I think 6 months after that, I did an 8-piece collection for a group called Louisville Bespoke. This was in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I'd never stopped sewing, and it was awesome. It was
That's
cool. And so
that's
then I
awesome.
started my brand. I think that was in the fall, and I think the fall of 2017. And I started my brand in 2017, and it was nice. And I did other shows after that, and how I got to sustainability. I went to Tex World in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That's a place where you go to look for fabrics every season, where designers go. And I watched, they have like these little classes or courses or what is it?
Like seminars.
Seminars you can go to. So I went to a seminar, and they showed a video on how fashion was like, I think we're second in destroying the planet.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, I'm laughing. It's really not funny, but
Right, but
yeah. And
I get
so
it.
yeah, so I watched this video about how, the chemicals are getting washed into the Ganges, into all these bodies of water.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that sucks. And I've always been like a health conscious person. And there's so many things that I found out after that. But anyway, I said to myself, I don't want to be a part of that.
Right.
So, yeah, like my first collection, you can see where I did use some rayons, some sequins, like some, the bad fabrics. But now, after going to New York and having that experience, and I decided, yeah, I was going to be more sustainable and ethical because I didn't want to be part of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So kind of tell me, obviously having your own brand for 8 years and stepping away from it for 10.
Forever.
What was kind of some of the struggles you saw kind of getting into the business aspect of it? Because obviously you have the creative.
Well, the thing about it is, it was actually easier this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like before I had my children, it was expensive
Right.
to start your own brand. You either had to come up with, oh my gosh, I think back then, like thousands of dollars to start a brand
Right.
for advertisement. And, but this is, so networking is key.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that happened, there was a company, it was a production company in Louisville, and it was called Louisville Bespoke. And I saw, an ad in the paper, and I just knocked on her door, and I said, I'm a fashion designer. I showed her, some pieces, and she was like, okay. So I just started, doing shows with her, and it was social media that really, really did it. I mean, um, it just made it easier. Social
Right.
media made it easier, and you have to get out there. You have to get out of the building. You have to go, meet people, and like I went to, I don't know how I met the person. I went to New York Fashion Week to buy, it was the time I was gonna buy textiles. And so I went to New York Fashion Week, oh yes, with Louisville Bespoke, the owner of Louisville Bespoke. So there I met some people who were involved with Columbus Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
So I met those people, but I didn't know that I was moving to Ohio, when I met those people.
Right.
But then when I moved to Ohio, I ended up getting involved with Columbus Fashion Week, which there's a guy, his name is Tommy McClure, and he made Columbus Fashion Week, like he put Columbus Fashion Week on the map. I know there's like, New York and Chicago and LA, but
Right.
Columbus, you don't think Columbus, but yeah,
But it's
there's a really thriving fashion scene in Columbus.
awesome.
So there's that.
Yes, that's super cool. So I guess that kind of showed you that you could get into it, and the networking. Obviously, that's what I do a ton of that for my job is networking
Yeah.
and word of mouth stuff. But what do you think? Did you already have that skill to kind of leverage your social media? Because it's not easy, and especially at the beginning, did you kind of have that skill to leverage it, or is it something that you kind of still implement big time now, or what does that look
I'm
like?
still learning. I'm learning. And I kind of took a break during COVID. So I know it looks like I've been in business for, you said it's 7.5 years, but I really, during COVID kind of killed me. Like it honestly
Right.
really did.
Right.
But I still kept myself, relevant. That's why it looks like I was still, I know that year in 2020, Columbus Fashion Week, they did their show online. So I did that. They had designer presentations that they did, and and I really didn't I really didn't get back into the game until after we moved to Tampa, Florida. So I'm in Tampa, Florida right now.
That's awesome. I was down there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and Tommy McClure also moved to Florida at the same time, and he asked me to do Art Basel.
Hmm.
And so I did Art Basel, and then I've done shows here with a group called Fashion's Finest Tampa Bay. And then there's another group with, I think, the owner of, oh my gosh, what is it? One of the coaches' wives of the, what is the team? What is it?
Buccaneers,
What's
or
the football team in Tampa? His wife.
Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Buccaneers. Like she has this thing called Tampa Bay Fashion Experience. And so they asked me to do that. I mean, I was really trying not to do all those shows, when I moved there, but I really did. So I did a show with her, and then I got the finale show for Columbus Fashion Week, right as I was moving to Tampa. But I find my customers mostly in person,
Hmm.
because speaking of the social media thing, social media, it's hard to get my website visible. So I'm working on that.
Right.
It's not easy. I mean, it's easier, I have a following, I've made my collection, but there's so much more that I have to do as a one person,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
there's like, I look at my schedules like, okay, so I have to post, what is it, 3 times a week at least. Like I can tell you what I have to do right now, like today.
Yeah.
I have a 10-piece collection that I have to show. It's like I try to do at least one show per year.
Hmm.
So it's a 10-piece collection that I have to show in August. Okay. And so I'm on number 3. Okay. But at the same time, it takes me forever to do a reel or some kind of post. I'm like sewing and like you got to go do this reel. You have to check your email.
Hmm.
You can't miss like this podcast right here.
Right.
Like right now, I could be upstairs working on dress number 3.
Right.
And I have something huge just coming up, because I said that I get a lot of, what is it, fashion production companies asking you to do shows.
Hmm.
But I mean, you can do shows all day long, but you're not going to make any money. It's not going to make you any money. It's just going
No,
to make you some cool pictures. So that's why I'm doing the one show.
I think I got a really good connection for you.
Well, I'm finally, like, some production companies from New York Fashion Week, they just keep asking and asking. I was like, if I do New York Fashion Week, I'm going to do it for me, and I'm going to make some money. I'm going to get something out of it. But I can't really say what this thing is, but it's going to be so big, and like in order for me to do it in New York,
Yeah.
it's got to be really big. But I can't really say what it is. But it's in New York. It's a New York Fashion Week event.
That's awesome.
There are going to be like people there who, yeah, I want to be in front of.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to do it this time, and that's in February.
That's awesome. So what are some of the things that you if you could kind of go back and start over, what do you think you would go back and do a little bit different to kind of make your business a little bit more turnkey?
Um, that's a good question. Uh, let's see, because I think I would probably not do it by myself.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, because my husband's starting this thing with AI, like this nonprofit with AI, and he's got like, I don't know, 3 other people working with him. And I'm so jealous. I'm like looking at him like, So yeah, I think I wouldn't do it by myself, because I am trying to figure out, sometimes I wish that I could just, design and do the networking and have someone else handle, like the financing and that sort of thing. So yeah, I just wouldn't do it alone, because it's lonely. I'm
Absolutely,
lonely.
absolutely. So, I actually have one of my really good friends I grew up with. He super smart guy. He's probably the richest person I know at my age. At my age, at 25, but that's what he does is he scales clothing brands for a living.
Cool.
He's done some of the bigger ones you'll see all over social media. They're kind of the engine that runs them, and he audits for small business brands like yours, and to kind of give you free consultation on stuff like that. And I'd love to put you in contact to where if you it's just a contact for it, and he can show you. They do like 8 figures of revenue a year.
Yes.
For
Send me his email.
I most definitely will. But no, so these are 2 questions I always ask towards the end of the podcast, not the last 2, but these are always 2 I ask towards the end. Is Renae, tell me something. What do you want to do with your time? When you say that you get all the fashion kind of worn up. You got, you got that 10-piece collection done that you've rocked the world with. You know what I mean? Like you've got it shipping in bulk at that 10-piece collection. What do you kind of want to do with your time? Whether it be with the family, the kids, travel, go sit on a boat somewhere, go be, what is it you want to do?
I'm still thinking about, I think I'm possibly may want to write Christian children's books.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my my goal before I got back into fashion, I was going to get my PhD in theology.
Mm-hmm.
So I might still do that, but finding a parachurch ministry for women is probably what I really want to do.
Yeah,
Maybe start a nonprofit or work for a nonprofit or support a parachurch ministry. I'm
absolutely.
still trying to see what God's going to do with that. While I was here, well, when we first got here to Tampa, I would teach Bible study to a group of women at the Hillsborough House of Hope. It's a place where, when women come out of jail
Mm-hmm.
and they want to get integrated back into society. So I did that for a little bit, but I don't know, just something for women or children ministry.
That's awesome.
And that's what I want to do and write children's books.
That
Because, I like to sketch and my son sketches too. He's better than I am.
is
So,
he? Is he a little artist?
yeah, he is.
That's awesome. That's freaking cool. My best friend, his mother she's an art teacher and super good artist. And we were in probably fourth, fifth grade. They built this, you do some type of project at that time of day, or you got to build something cool and see who's the most artistic in the room, or at the
Yeah.
school. And they built a big old dragon, and we were like, "You didn't build that, your mom made that." And then she
Dragon?
big, like looked like one of the Chinese New Year's dragons.
Oh, wow.
It was, I mean, it was sick. It was probably, by far the coolest thing that was built over the whole time I was at that school, because they would put
That
them
is
up in the libraries, and we'd have to go vote on them. And we were like, "Nick, you didn't make that. Your mom made that one."
That is awesome. See, I would like my son, he makes music, but I think he was 8, I found a video that he put on YouTube
Hmm.
and he had sketched all the characters and he did the voice of the characters. And it was so funny. It was about this guy goes to hell on accident. And then he has this thing called, it's not Alexa, he called it Alexa.
Uh-huh.
Alexa. I mean, he was so funny, and I was like, wow. But my son, so I can get him to help me, with my Christian books when he's, yeah, to draw the pictures and.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. It runs in the family. That's super cool. Well, and then the last question I ask is, so tell me, it's Burning the Ship is the name of the podcast. Is kind of the mantra we have. Do you know where we got it from?
I, he told me, but I forgot. You have to tell me
Yes,
again.
from Central American conquistador Hernan Cortez when he lands in modern day Mexico. He made his people take all their supplies off and put them on the beaches, and then disassemble all the ships and burn them on the beaches. And that was his
Okay.
sign to his people. They were going to make it there, and they were going to that, or they were going to die trying. They were like, "We're not going back to Spain. We're going to stay here. This is our
Yeah.
land." And we use that same sense of business. We kind of look back or don't look back and kind of go forward and see what happens. And you're a perfect example. You've just spent 10 years in ministry school, and then next thing you know, you're a fashion designer again. So kind
Yeah,
of, what was
yeah.
it like for you to burn the ship? And you had kids.
Oh my goodness. It was kind of, I don't know, it was cool just doing it a second time. It's better this time. It's like I didn't lose skills, but it's like I'm actually better.
Right.
And when I was like the way I was, before I had my kids, and sometimes I'm sewing and I'm like, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like I'll make something. I'm just like, this is so awesome.
Where'd that come from?
Huh?
I was like, you're like, where'd that come from? Like, I didn't
Yeah,
think I could
yeah.
do this.
So yeah, I surprise myself sometimes. But I'm just really trying to find that customer because when I do get my pieces in front of the person, I make sales. I think that my brand is just kind of it's not as visible as it needs to be. And I have people calling me, telling me how they, telling me that. Like there's this one guy that calls me nonstop. He's like, because I really think, but he wants money, and I can't give him that right now. He said, but I really think your brand is awesome, and I really, and I'm like, okay,
So,
he's gonna have to wait, but
yeah,
yeah.
right. Absolutely. No, that is awesome. But that is, I guess it's that scary feeling. But when you hop out on that edge, you've been there 7 years, still going. So
Yeah, yeah, this is,
or seven.
it's been fun. And like the best part, like the runway. I like seeing your pieces on the runway and come, I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like seeing somebody in my designs. Like I had what is it, med spa owner. She wanted a dress for her not her grand open, her 1 year anniversary, and just seeing her so happy. But yeah, it's kind of, it's good, but then at the same time, I'm like, I do want to be involved in ministry still, but I have to see what God's going to do. If this is where He wants me, then this is where I'm going to be, because He gave me the talent.
Right. Right.
So I can't complain about any of it.
Absolutely not. That's awesome. I'm glad you got fearing too. That makes it even better. But no, Renae, tell the people where to find you guys.
AnastasiaFashion.com is my website. Um, so, which I'm also doing a lot. I'm going to make changes on the website. I want to, because fit is a problem. So, on my website, I'm going to try to make it so that I can do more of a personal fit, because we don't want women throwing garments away. We want them to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Absolutely.
yes, AnastasiaFashion.com. Not Anastasia. It's Anastasia. There's
Anastasia.
no A on the end of that. It's
Anastasia.
A-N-A, yes, AnastasiaFashion.com.
Absolutely. And we will have all of Renae's and AnastasiaFashion.com link down below. Anything you guys need from us, please reach out, because we would love to connect you with Renae. Renae, thank you so much, and burn the ship.
Thank you.